There
And
we go.
so because we have a brand new brand new opportunity here with Dave today. Dave, you've been doing this for about 4 years with EXP, so you already know EXP is a good enough home for most. And there
Absolutely.
is a reason why 80,000 people have joined us over the last 5 years. Um, they come and go in every brokerage. I saw a study yesterday that what was that number we saw, Tim, that 70% of all agents
Yeah.
didn't sell a home in 2024. And I got to be honest with you, we got some of them. But today is all about agent attraction. And I'm going to speak to you, Dave, as a brand new individual, curious about what revenue share really is, what it looks like, how to think about it, what it can do for you. And over the next hour, I'm going to teach you legitimately all you need to know, 100% of it, in order to build a $250,000 income in the next 3 years and then maintain a multiple six-figure income passively, if you've done it right, from there. Now, Dave, I'm going to ask you, is that the kind of teaching you want today?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to learn more in the next hour, and I'm going to recommend you to review this video. It's going to be found in the Freedom Team Zoom or the Freedom Team group page in Workplace. I'm going to recommend, and by the way, Tim, please do send it to Jeff and ask him to post this, and we'll give it a title. Um, all you need to know about agent attraction. That'll be the title because this is all you're going to need to know. Now, Dave, I'll be right up front with you. $250,000 over the next 3 years is more than most people make in rev share in their entire life. But the reason is they don't make it simple for themselves and they don't just believe it. So what we're going to do is cover three things today. Number one, we're going to, and wait, a fourth thing is questions. I'm going to answer questions. I'm going to answer them at the end. But the three things we're going to cover in advance of the questions that you have, because what I'm about to teach you may solve many of your questions, is number one, I'm going to teach you the way you'll need to think to move through a successful run at $250,000. The second thing I'm going to talk to you are the steps to take in order to do the right things so you can simplify and be the most efficient with your time, because this isn't what we got into real estate for, to recruit other agents. So I'm going to show you a 15-minute a day program that will lock you into $250,000 in the next few years and a multi six-figure income from that point forward. And then the third phase is the only thing you're going to have to buy into for the future, not in the future, but for the future. Number one, you need the mindset right now. Number two, you need to understand what to do right now. But what you have to buy in for the future is nobody shoots a perfect free throw. Nobody shoots a perfect 3-point shot. Although I saw a video the other day of Stephon Curry that shot 77 three-pointers in a row. So he's as clean as anybody, but he didn't do 100 out of 100. And so what I want you to know is the third thing I want to teach you, and I'm not going to speak about it much again today, is everybody has a natural level of acceptance of information, confidence of information, and then utilization of information. Some of us this is going to be easier for, and some of us it's not. And so at the end of the day, Dave, since we're best friends now, at the end of the day, the third phase of this is something you have to buy into for the future, and that's called improvement. Because everybody's going to hit a wall running the marathon at some point. And I will walk you through improvement once you're in the fight, running the race, and then you're at a point where you're either you don't know where to put your time because there's so much coming at you in a good way, or you're beginning to doubt what you're doing because there's not enough coming at you in the right way. Does that make sense to you, Dave? You're the new guy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
I'm going to go through that right now. Hey, John, nice to have you here. So with that said, we'll start with number one. What's the mindset? Well, there's seven key thoughts to mindset. The first thing is you've got to understand that you need a dream and belief to create urgency or a spark. If you don't have dream and belief, you will not maintain making your phone calls. At some point on Wednesday or Friday, something will get in the way because you allow it to get in the way. I'm going to ask Dave to spend 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week on agent attraction, which means you can spend 23 hours and 45 minutes on anything else you want. So you'll need to professional up and say, you know what? I can find 15 minutes. Yes, I need transactions. Yes, I need to spend time with my family. Yes, I need to eat. Yes, I need to bathe on a fairly regular basis. Yes, I need to go bowling or go to a movie or go dancing, whatever you do for fun. But if you won't invest 15 minutes a day, it's because you have a time management issue. Don't blame me. You're the one with the issue. I'm asking you for 15 minutes a day to put $250,000 in your pocket over the next 2 or 3 years, depending on your time frame, and a multiple six-figure income from that point forward. You need to give an understanding that 15 minutes of investment means doing the work. 15 minutes, and you won't do the work if you have a dream or belief problem. Number 2, you're always looking for the one that's looking for you. So here's a different way to think about that, Dave. If you make a call and they're not open, you're not interested. Forget about whether they're interested. It's all about Dave. Oh, we wanted to make it about them. Nobody does that long. We used to think, oh, if you call them, they're not open, they must not be, the timing's not right for them. I don't care about them until they want me to care about them. I can bless agents with EXP, and I believe it's a blessing to be here. But if they're not open, I'm not interested. Number 3 will be, you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. So the timing of your invite is more important, Dave, than what you say or your credibility or how they know you. If you call the right person on the right day, they're going to say yes. Number 4, your concern about how you come across is an ego thing, or what they may think of you is an ego thing. And you got to check egos at the door when you're calling prospects. Why? They don't want to feel it or see it. Your interest is in their ego. Can we help them? Can we bless them? Understand, what I just mentioned is paralyzing to a lot of people. What are they going to think of me? How am I coming across? I promise you, when you do this for about 3 weeks, you will come across perfectly for the prospects that are open-minded. The ones that got pissed off at the broker yesterday, they don't have enough leads, they have a contract going south, they didn't have anyone to call. Number 5, when you work the numbers cure all your issues. Whether you are credible, whether you have the best invite script and the invite delivery. The bottom line is, when you catch someone that's desperate, and if you spend 15 minutes a day, you will find desperate people who you just happen to call at the right time. Number 5 is, you're looking for the person that is desperately looking the moment you call them. So it isn't about you. Bottom line, work the numbers. Number 6. Every day you have a task to do. If you're not doing the task, you have a dream or belief problem. You have to self-diagnose that you have a problem and then bring it back to me on Thursday to medicate. Number 7, the last one. Dave, you're going to understand this in everything you've always done. You're working too hard simply because you're thinking too much. Woo! And that's the first whirlwind. That's how to set your mind up for success. These are the 7 thoughts to master your mindset. I'll open it up for 2 or 3 minutes. Everybody knows that comes here. Dave, you're going to know right now, this class works better for you if you participate with me. So when I say anybody question or comment, I'm not looking for a 45-minute hostile takeover to my presentation. What I'm looking for is a quick comment of, man, that helped me. Hey, you know what? Can you expand on this? Just something that changed in you in the last 10 minutes. Anybody question or comment?
I got a quick question. I came in late. Are we able to get an email or something, or of the seven things you mentioned?
I will post those 7 top tips. Tim, send me a text Tim is not my secretary. I want you to know this.
Although he treats me like one.
I will, but I pay very well, lots of vacation time. But we do this with each other all the time. I'm always doing things for him. He's always doing things for me. So everybody understand that he also has the ability to cut in anytime he wants to add or hone what I'm delivering to you. He doesn't need permission.
To cut off too.
Yeah, you can cut me off too.
Thank you both.
Make
I
yourself the
appreciate it.
host. So send me a text for 7 top tips to be posted, and I'll post those in the Freedom Team feed in Workplace. John,
Thank
great
you.
question. No problem. By the way, I'd come back for the sound check. I would come back for the sound check. I'd come back meaning listen to the recording. This is a recording you're going to want to listen to again.
Oh,
if you want
if that's
$250,000.
the case, then yeah, no, I don't need the notes then. I can listen
No,
to the
no, no, no.
recording.
You need the notes because I want to write them out nice and pretty for you. Anybody
Okay.
else have a comment or question? Need to? Go ahead, Mike. I love when Mike can't talk.
I
He's
think he's
desperate.
muted. Yeah, he's
Okay,
muted.
here we go. Yeah.
Go ahead.
When I had a
Question.
bar across the top, couldn't get to it. So kind of, what you're saying in going through here and figuring out what your problem is.
You don't have to figure out your problem is. All you're going to tell
Look.
me is what's happening. I know what the problem is. If you tell me I'm not making my calls, you have a dream or belief problem. By the way, I've built some of the largest teams in the team building industry over 40 plus years, right? For decades. So all I got to do is look at you. And if you look at me honestly, I know what your problem is. And you might think, oh, he's being very conceited, egocentric. Just try me.
No.
Okay. I'm going to say this. Did you make your calls yesterday? Yes or no?
No. I'm sorry.
You have
I'm sorry.
a
Take
dream
it back.
or belief problem.
I didn't make as many calls as I wanted to yesterday.
And the reason was you have a dream or belief problem. I'm telling you, it always comes back to that. By the way, I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy you made any calls yesterday. That's better than most, right? 70% of all agents didn't sell a house last year. We have 83,000 agents in EXP, and 82,575 of them didn't make a single call yesterday for either real estate or for agent attraction. So I salute you for being here and making a stand, doing something. But let me say this. When you don't do the task in front of you in your 15 minutes, which is make at least 5 calls a day, if you don't do that, you have a dream or belief issue. Now I ask the question, Mike, do you truly want to build a 6-figure residual that's passive through RevShare? Is that really what you want to do?
Yes.
Do you know why? I don't need to hear all of it, but do you know why you want to do that?
Exactly.
Why?
So I don't have to chase the dollar.
Okay, no, you can stop there. Great. And so it'll relieve you of a pressure that you haven't felt relieved on since you were 25 years old. True or not true?
That's true.
Okay. So financial freedom is at the end of this talk.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have a dream problem. You have a belief problem. And what is that problem? That you believe either that calls are not going to work, but you believe they'll work, right? Yes?
Do. Yes.
Okay. You believe that you're not good enough to make those calls, or the message you're stating isn't good enough to catch the right person on the right day, but you believe that, right? You believe, okay, good. So those aren't your belief problems. Again, I'm seriously nasty at doing this stuff. So your belief problem is that you can't get the calls done. It goes along with the day gets away from me and I can't get the calls come. And if you keep letting the day get away from you and not making the calls, that habit is going to beat up your belief. So I'm going to give you an answer to how to correct that, because the only way to create a good habit, by the way, the only way to get rid of an old habit, bad habit, is to create a good one. So here's the good one. Starting today, have you eaten lunch yet?
No.
No lunch for you. Now get out. No lunch until you make 5 outbound calls to new agents that you haven't spoken with yet. I don't care how many follow-throughs you do. It's not part of what I'm teaching you today. And that's part of the improvement. I don't care whether you get voicemails. That counts. I'd like you to have at least one conversation. I don't care where it goes. But there's you brush your teeth almost every day, if not once or twice. Yes, Mike? You find a way to do that even if you're tired, right? Even if you're drunk and disoriented, not to say you would ever do that, but you still find a way, right?
Right.
Okay. So make making your calls like brushing your teeth, something you may or may not want to do, but you're going to do it every day before you take the first bite of lunch. Tim, real quick, 30 seconds, tell him your story about eating lunch and making calls.
First of all, many days I fail, so learn to forgive yourself. But I've learned, and Eric has taught this for the 5 years that we've been doing this now. Get those 5 names on an index card the night before, and that solves most of your time problem. Yep. And then make the 5 calls before you eat lunch. And when you say, damn, I'm hungry, I'm going to go. Nope, can't do it. And when you think negative, what are we going to think, Eric?
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
Because the minute you think
Every
of
one of you
anything
smiled
negative,
when you heard cinnamon. You're like, what the F is that?
cinnamon. The reason you think cinnamon is one of the top 3 smells that you can clearly sense without being near it. If I say the word cinnamon, you smell it, right? You know what that smells like. Understand, whenever you're in a negative space, whenever you get a negative outcome, a negative answer, a negative, the minute you get that, if you can teach yourself not to go positive, because the brain won't go negative to positive. The brain can only go from negative to neutral and then neutral to positive. And so anytime you have a negative experience, it hits negative and you go, cinnamon. Oh, okay. And then immediately go, what do I want to be doing? So it is your cleansing breath. It is your alcohol. If you're Greek, it's your Windex. Okay? If you're a jack of all trades, it's your masking tape. So, Mike, your issue is you aren't making your calls. That's the only issue. You don't have a fear. You have a belief problem that you're going to make your calls. So I challenge you, 5 calls a day, every day, Monday through Friday at least. Saturday's good if you want to, before lunch. Try it between now and next Thursday. Tell me how it goes, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Mike,
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna
Thank you, Eric.
interrupt here.
Go ahead,
and
Tim.
say that Eric interrupted you midstream with your question. Did your question get answered?
It did, and
What else is there?
I was actually thinking before Eric actually honed in on it. Um, it was, well, do I have it? Do I believe in the dream of doing this and being financially set from it? Yes, I did. So the dream part was there, and I was pretty sure it was the belief problem. The belief that yes, I can get I can make these calls, I can make it work. You're absolutely correct that when you let stuff get in the way, it becomes defeating. Damn it, I didn't get it done today. Shit, I gotta try, let's try it again tomorrow. And not putting the wall in front of that circle of calls and going, okay, I've got to block this time. Whatever happens, I don't eat lunch, whatever it is, this has to happen before of. And that's what I've not done a great job of, being insistent of myself that I have to get this done.
When you block yourself, like you said, right now, you're blocking yourself from doing what you want to do. You have a dream problem. And the dream problem is, I really want it. But it's not a big enough dream to overcome your belief problem. See, if the dream's big enough, the facts don't count. So you need to magnify your dream to what is it going to feel like in a year and a half when I have a 6-figure, or 2 years, 3 years when I've made $250,000 from this, and now I have a 6-figure or multiple 6-figure passive. How is that going to be? Now, understand something. Dave's like, you haven't told me how I can't believe I get to $250,000. I haven't sponsored anybody yet. I'm going to do that right now. But for you, Mike, you already have heard me do this, so I'm going to do this for you right now. Do you absolutely believe if you made 1,320 calls, you'd find 5 agents who would
Yes.
like to join EXP and they'd like to build rev share? Out of 1,300 calls, would you find 5?
Yes.
Okay. If you make 5 calls a day every day for the next year, Monday through Friday, you've made 1,300 calls. So you just said you'd find them. 5 agents capping is going to pay you this year $20,000. If they each bring their best friend, you've made $28,000. If next year you help them bring their 5, because you found 5 that want to bring 5 because you're bringing 5.
Yes.
Forget about the ones that don't want to rev share. Forget about the ones that don't cap. I'm looking for ones that do both. And they're all out there. And they're looking and they're coming to EXP with or without you, Dave or Mike. And so I want you to know, you're going to get 5, you get 5. Now you're making $47,000 a year. And that following year, I promise you, when you have 5, you get 5, which means 25 on level 2, you will focus your attention on helping those 25 find 5. And remember, they're as committed to doing it as the one you brought in, who's going to be as committed to doing it as you are. It starts with you. So here's a lesson I haven't taught in a long time. Golden nugget number 1. Be the agent you're looking for. Be the agent you're looking for. If every agent in your group, Mike, that you recruit did exactly what you did rev share wise, you wouldn't have a rev share group. Until you do. By doing the right things, you bring in the right people that are going to do the right things because you've brought in the right people. It starts with you. Good news is you are in complete control because the world is going to deliver the people to you. Once you are resigned, it's going to work. 1% doubt, you're out. Judy, you had a question for me.
I actually didn't have a question, I have a comment. I wanted to thank you, first of all, because I've been on these calls for a long time. And I have been asking myself, I knew it wasn't a dream. It's not the dream problem. And I guess I was like the man in Mark 9 in the Bible said, I believe, but it helped my unbelief. And so today, for some reason, it hit. You know, it's a belief. I know I've been on these calls for a long time, I know. But it actually hit today that it's the belief problem that I've had. And you've helped my unbelief today.
Yay!
And I just wanted to thank you for that. And Tim, thank you for this 5 index card. That will make it much easier for me to do that the night before. Yeah, pray
1
for me.
index card, 5 names.
1 index card, 5 names. Y'all pray for me, okay?
We'll pray for you.
Consistently do this. I am serious about it because I do believe that it will work.
Thank
No
you.
doubt about that.
Hey, Judy, thank you for sharing that because that is the same way that if I read the Bible and I read scripture enough times, one of the 100 times I read it, it's going to hit me and make sense. So I'm going to start being on these calls every time now because of you. Thank you.
I want it to be because of her. Any reason, anything helps. Now, John, I'm going to say something to you so you understand. Judy, you've been on these calls for a couple of years now. And I have said the index card, 5 names, and Tim said it. We've said it dozens of times. But just like my daughter in 5th grade, when she was going to bed every night, she'd have me push Little Giants into her VCR and she'd watch the same movie every night. It's because at that age, your brain is changing. So she's seeing something new in it every time. And she couldn't believe all that she was missing, but she didn't know she was missing. Judy, every conflict you have, you are missing. It is being taught out of my mouth every single Thursday. You're just not aware of it because your lens needs cleansing.
I agree.
So stay in the Word. Our Word can be found at freedomteamsupport.com/brain bucket. All you got to go is freedomteamsupport.com and look for the brain bucket. We will cleanse your lens, not your brain, your lens. We don't brainwash here. We clean your glasses. Okay? So, Dave, I'm going to pause. I'm going to go in the next section, which is what to do. And you will say, my gosh, that's the simplest, most efficient way I've ever seen to make 6 figures. You're going to say that word for word Out of your brain, you're going to think these words. But let me do this first. Dave, you're on microphone?
Yep, yep, I'm here.
Have I blown your mind yet?
Yeah, I mean, it all sounds great. Yeah, I mean, I definitely am interested and I've always been interested in the agent attraction, to be honest,
Yeah,
with you,
but
since the beginning.
doesn't this way of thinking change everything in your life, not just agent attraction? The fact that anything is possible, that you control it all.
Absolutely.
Dave
Understand,
attracted
people,
me.
you're awesome, John. Thank you. Oh, by the way, Judy, you reminded me of I listened to audio tapes years ago in the 80s and 90s aggressively, and there was one that called "This is the Day That Posture Struck." And here's posture, golden nugget number 2. Bad posture. It can be in real estate at a listing appointment. Bad posture is when the prospect thinks you need them. Bad posture. It's a subliminal thing. They're not likely to go with you. Everybody know that? So what do you think the good posture is? Well, when the prospect doesn't think you need them. That's good posture. How many of you want good posture? No. You want true posture. You don't need them. It's not about what they think. It's about what you think. I don't need them. Don't care if they come. I'm going to run the numbers looking for the guy that's looking for me. And that's all I'm looking for. I am in the sorting business in everything I do. In everything I do. When I went to Publix this morning, the grocery store, and I looked at 2 different variations of honey. I decided which one I wanted. They were both there for me. Now, yes, they would have both jumped in my cart. You guys are going to talk to real estate people. When you know you don't need this one, you don't need anyone, because what you are thinking and what you are doing will work. Game change. Joel, jump on mic.
What's happening?
How long you been listening to me do this?
Long time, man. Since I was 24,
And
23.
you're a few years past that right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Has virtually anything I said changed in 23, 25 years?
Nope.
Has my delivery changed in 23, 25 years?
No.
Do I still get the same blank looks now that I got 23 to 25 years ago?
Yes.
And is that going to bother me one bit?
No.
True posture. Okay. Thanks, buddy. Nice to have you here. Let's
You bet.
sell some
Thank you.
houses and recruit some agents. Okay. By the way, he's a great commercial agent. You need anybody in the Texas region? Joel's your guy. With this said, let's move to what we do. Real simple, Dave, for you. I'll use an acronym. It's very easy to remember. It's LISA. LISA, L-I-S-A. I'm going to teach you in the simplest way possible in 5 minutes how to kill the production side of what we do. L, list. There's 7 ways to build your attraction list. Tim Hollenden did the training on it. He's going to post that link in your chat. He's also going to request Jeff to repost it in the Freedom Team feed. Okay, Tim?
It's already in the chat.
Then put it in the feed. Make sure Jeff does that or we do that. List. He's going to teach you how to get 7 different ways to generate a list. Dave, you've been doing it for 4 years. You'll find plenty of agents through those methods. I, invite. I'm going to introduce a new way to think about the word invite for those that have heard me before. I contact every agent I know. But based on how I feel at that moment, sometimes I invite them to look, sometimes I don't. It's okay to call somebody. And if they're in the middle of a funk, the contact does not turn into an invite. It's okay if you meet someone at an open house, another agent. It may or may not be the right time to invite them. but it's always a good idea to contact. You're going to contact 5 agents a day with the intention of inviting. And most of the time, if you're not inviting 4 out of 5, then you're using that as an excuse. You're hiding away around belief. So Dave, number 1, list 7 ways to do it with Tim. I invite. You're going to use a script. That script is found at freedomteamsupport.com. Look under attraction scripts right there. I'm going to modify that script, and I'm going to put it on the Freedom Team feed in Workplace by tomorrow at this time, which is, we'll call it noon my time on Friday. Here's what I'm recommending you do. Everybody grab your phone except for Melanie, who's driving. Put an alarm on your phone for 12 o'clock tomorrow, or whatever time it is right now, tomorrow. Do it right now. And go to the Freedom Team feed, not to get all this stuff. By tomorrow, maybe all of this stuff will be up there, but I will have this posted tomorrow by this time, the newest attraction script. And I may even put it on the Freedom Team support site under attraction scripts. But I want you to go to the feed. It sounds like this, Dave. First of all, I want you to know what's behind the script. 2 things are behind the script, Dave. Number 1, I'm looking for someone open-minded. And 2, I'm looking for them to tell me they're not open-minded. It's like baseball. I'm looking for people to literally call themselves out. Because if I take them through or around the bases, I've got to invest more time. I don't want to do that with someone that's going to get exhausted before they get home. Dave, does that make sense?
Yep.
So one of my favorite lines is this, golden nugget number 3. Is that a polite way of saying no? Is that a polite way of saying no? So when somebody says something to you you don't like, just say, hey, we're friends. Is that a polite way of saying no? And you will hear them go either, no, I want to see it. Okay. I just can't do it tomorrow. Okay. Or, yeah, it's just not for me. Okay. Because remember, Dave, we're in the sorting business. We can't sort them. We allow them to sort themselves, but we understand that if they're not interested, if they're not open, we're not interested. Dave, you got all those? Perfect. So the invite sounds something like this. Dave, you may or may not know, I came to EXP about 4 years ago. It's really been a good decision for me. I'm not asking you to change brokerages, but about 80,000 agents have come to our company in the last 5 years. I'm calling for one reason. Hope you take it as a compliment. But would you be open to spend about 15 minutes, and only 15 minutes, to find out why all 80,000 came? Whether you're interested or not, you'll decide. But would you be curious enough to spend 15 minutes with me? That's it. Dave, how does that come across to you?
I mean, it's a very soft approach. I like it. Yeah, I mean, you're not asking for a whole.
Then use it. Modify it for your personality. But I softened it for Tim. He felt squirrely going on with a strong approach. Now, for some of you that like connecting with people, connect with them for a few minutes before you go to the invite. Contact them, warm them up, then invite them with the invite. Golden nugget number 4, here's how you do that. Especially for women who generally like to talk, and then they try to slide something in. Here's how it works. The transition line is, so Tim, let me tell you why I called. So the catch up is the catch up. The warm up is the warm up. Mike, if you don't want to be a warm up guy, don't warm up. Just go right to it. But if you're a warm up personality, then warm up. Don't warm up too long. You're doing 5 calls in 15 minutes and you should always be off the phone by then. We will teach an improvement on how to be on there longer and benefit you longer, but don't worry about that right now. Let's just get you on the call five times for 15 minutes before lunch. Okay? So the invite's going to work, and you're going to use it in one line. Hey, Dave, I don't know if you know this or not. I've been at EXP now 6.5 years. It's been a great decision for me, but I'm not asking you to change brokerages. Let me tell you why I'm specifically reaching out. Hope you take this as a compliment. But about 80,000 people have come to EXP over the last 5 years, and I've got a 15-minute overview that explains why they've all come. Would you be curious enough to know why these 80,000 people moved? Don't know if you're interested or not until you watch it. And again, I know you're not likely to change brokerages, but would you be open to a 15-minute conversation? That's it. Learn that, $250,000. Okay? That's the invite, LIS, show. What do you show them? If you're bringing them to show them, at that moment, you say, can you jump on a Zoom now, later today? You want to do it on Saturday? Don't matter to me. Just let's not set up an appointment, golden nugget number 5. Let's not set up an appointment we don't think we can hold. Nothing wrong with saying that is never offensive to someone that holds appointments. What did I say? It's never offensive to people that hold appointments. So, set an appointment. Jump on a Zoom. I'm not going to teach you how to do Zoom today. If you need to do Zoom, someone will teach you. Come back next Thursday and ask. But the bottom line is, you're going to jump on a Zoom, your Zoom. You're going to hit play of my 15-minute presentation, unless you want to do a 30-minute presentation, and then you'll play Tim's or Jeff's. They all work. Brent Gove is coming out with a brand new one. It'll be out in the next probably 6 weeks. It'll be somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes, and it'll work. It'll be great. So it all depends on you and what you want to use. I like 15 minutes because 15 minutes is all they need. If they're not interested in 15 minutes, they're not interested in 38. But you may want to match personalities and do all that. Go ahead and do that. Again, today I'm teaching my method. My method is to use the video, the contacting script I use, and I show them the video I use. Now, Dave, you're brand new to what we're doing of revenue share. So when you set an appointment, you shoot a message to Mike and someone else Mike works with. Hey, I got a Zoom on Thursday at 2 o'clock. Here's the invite link. Can either of you join me? And one of them will join you. That handles what am I got to do while I'm there. They know what to do. Mike, you would join them, right? Yeah. Okay. Dave, could you do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Here's number 4. A, answer questions. You're out. You don't answer anything. When they, after the presentation, by the way, notice how the A, but the word is Lisa, not Lays, not Leaz. So answering questions is like teaching them how to eat a banana through the phone. It's undoable. They will ask you questions to gather information, to create an idea of who EXP is, and you're going to be on with them for 45 minutes doing a lousy job of what I did in 15. And that's not personal, it's just real. Conversation before presentation leads to failure every time, 100% of the time. You can tell them, oh man, I love all the aspects of this company. It's been the best experience of my life. I've got everything I need here, and you're going to see why in the presentation. You see, it leads to the presentation. Well, what's your split? Oh, you know what? Everything. Here's what if you trust me enough, I'm going to ask you to gather all that information from the presentation. I'll tell you right now, it's an 80-20, but most of us don't pay we don't have to pay it. I'll explain why after the presentation. See where I'm going? Don't say I'm not going to answer. Tell them everything's going to be answered during, and then give them a quick answer that makes them go, oh, I really want to watch it now. Well, but am I ever going to, I heard it, it's hard, there's no offices. Oh, yeah, we handle that in the presentation. You're going to love the answer for that. And if that's still a problem after, then we'll talk after. You see how we handle that? Yes or no, Dave?
Yep.
By the way, let's back up a step. When you invite people, someone may push back. One time you are allowed, in my opinion, you're allowed to respond to a pushback. A pushback sounds like this. Oh, I don't think I'd be interested because I'm at 100%. Oh, I just made a move. Oh, I love my broker. Your pushback is to say these words exactly the way I say them in your personality. Oh, so you're at 100%. Okay. So I want you to hear, I know you're at 100%, but out of the 80,000 people that have come, many of them were as well. I want you to see why they came. As long as you and I agree, you're not likely to change brokerages. I understand that. Let's spend the 15 minutes together. Is it better to do it later today or tomorrow? Dave, you got that?
Yep, got it.
Okay. Now, again, John's like, am I really going to be able to listen to this on the recording? Is it really going to be on the recording? John, yes, yes, yes. And if not, I'll do it again next Thursday and the Thursday after, because I do it every freaking week. Okay.
And John, you had your hand up earlier, buddy. Did you get your question answered?
Well,
That was during the
I
dream and belief.
like I said, I came on the call late, so I assumed a couple things incorrectly about what the call was about. So my question has since been answered, but I appreciate you bringing it up.
Okay. Yeah,
And I
you're welcome.
appreciate you bringing it up, Mr. Tim. By the way,
Well, this is a Q&A call. We just want to make sure you all get your Q&As.
Yeah,
Hey.
this is awesome. Thank you.
I got 3 minutes to get to that. John, what were you coming for?
So, did you ask me what I'm coming for?
What did you think the call was for?
So I thought the call was, I knew it was for agent attraction, but I thought it was more along the lines of agents who hadn't been licensed yet. So that's what I was thinking, which I'm sure that's part of it, but that's much
I'm going to answer that for you real quick in the Q&A, but I'm going to wait 2 minutes to do that.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So I just brought you, Dave, I promised you 3 things. 1, I promised you mindset. You got that. Dream and belief, understanding that is the spark. Number 2, I promised you I'd give you what to do. You now have L, I, S, and A. You don't have to worry about answering questions. That's what Mike's there for. You just answer the things you easily can answer after the presentation, and then you get somebody that knows more. A fool can ask more questions than a wise man can answer. Bringing in someone else is credibility. It's authority. It's also a group. It's people. There's more than just you. Some of you need someone else for credibility at that point. Okay, the last thing was improvement. Now you can come back. If you start doing these things this week, you start making 5 calls a day, you're going to need improvement. So come back next week. We'll improve you all you need. Those are the 3 pieces. Now we go to the Q&A because I still had 30 seconds, Tim, before I got there. John, are you a new agent?
I am. Yes.
Are you licensed yet and at EXP?
I am. Yes.
Okay. Then you are no longer, when it comes to agent attraction, a new agent. Because
You're
the prospect you call, unless it leaks out through your beliefs, they will never ask a single question about, they will merely ask you about EXP. And your answer will never be, I'm new. The answer is, every question you have, John, is going to be answered by this short presentation. Let's just jump on a Zoom, and I'm going to have somebody there that actually has been here for a very long time to answer whatever questions you have.
Sounds good.
Okay. And again, because you don't have credibility in the industry and you don't have a lot of contacts in the industry, make sure you listen to the 7 ways to build your bucket, because your list, because Tim's going to take you through a couple of them that help you add to your list. How many people in your phone, John?
Just under 2,000.
Okay. You're going to start the A's today.
I've done it, but not for agents. Yeah, that's where I lack. I don't have a huge list of those.
Well,
yet.
then if you started the A's, you never got to the Z's. I know you didn't. So here's
you're
what I want you to start of the Z's today. And if there's no Z's or not enough, go to Z's, X's, Y's, and X's. And you send out a message. Sounds like this. You don't have to write it down. It's simple. Hey, I'm looking for hey, Jim, I'm looking for a real, or hey, buddy boy, if you want to copy paste. But Jim works better if it's Jim. I'm looking for a real estate agent in your area. If you happen to know anyone that you think is decent or good, can you please shoot me their information real quick? Period. We should catch up soon. That's it. Send it to every Z, every Y, every X, every W, every T, every S, every R, every O, every N, every M. Yep, I think I did that. And you do that. By the end of doing that, you will have more agents than you ever call, and now you have a lukewarm connection.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I would like to point out that David is so good that he recruited me before I was even thinking about being licensed.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now look at me, Dave. This is a private conversation just between me and you. Do not ever do that again.
He didn't really do it.
No. New agents, you can sponsor all the new agents you want, but that's not who you're going to be looking for.
Yeah,
Right?
no, I get it.
You're
Yeah.
not looking for 7th round draft picks unless their last name is Purdy, right? You're looking for the first 3 picks and maybe one of them will hit. Okay. The reason we don't focus on new agents is they don't mean any money to us first. They're more work for us second, and they have no credibility to talk to other agents third. So unless they have true grit and a dream like John Calo has, and I believe he has,
Yep.
then you're really you're loading your trunk with fruit that's not going to ripen very well, rather than being light and agile and go and grab the stuff at the top of the tree. Make sense?
One real quick, Dave, I'm sorry to get you in trouble, but I've never been so happy to have someone speak so directly. I'm not used to that. Thank you. It's a breath of fresh air for me.
And thank you for that. And Dave, please, if you're taking what I'm saying as you've done something wrong, you have not. What you did is do what's very rare to do. Find out of a huge dump. 84% of all agents that got their license in Florida in 2018 did not renew it by 2021. 84%.
That's crazy.
And all these brokerages are teaching them how to sell real estate. Okay, anybody else got questions? I got 7 minutes for you. Go ahead,
Eric. I do have a question. So, I'm just getting into my 4th year. So yeah, I'm more focused on agent attraction. Now, what are your thoughts? Like for me starting out, like the phone calls that I would think that I would want to call would be people that I've done deals with. That would be my first step, right? Probably with my agent calls.
I like the way you have an opinion and you say right because you want me to agree, and I do. But I want you to understand, here's what I would recommend you do if you're doing it the Eric Golden method. I'd make a list of every agent you know that you know, and then you have a name and phone number for. They're either in your phone, they're deals you've done, they're people in an office that you've ever been around, they're agents you've met at the commerce, at football games, they're agents. Just make a list of all of them. Because you're never going to go back and list again if you do it right the first time. So I'm a guy that measures twice, cuts once. Spend the next 48 hours, 72 hours through the weekend, and knowing most people, you'll wait till Sunday evening because there's no football game this week, and make the biggest list you can make. And I mean huge. Have it handwritten or Excel spreadsheet. A list is something that goes through your brain and out of your hands. Because what you're going to do then, and only then, is look at that list and go, wow, I got lots of people. Or you're going to go like John might, oh, I don't have many. And the reason I want you to know that is it will create either more confidence in your belief or a lack of confidence in your belief. And we need to handle that next Thursday. We'll handle it either way. I got solutions for everybody. We just got to figure out what bucket to put you in. So Dave, the second step is to go through that list and say, I definitely want to call this one, this one, this one, this one. By the way, if you put them on a Google sheet, you can just grab the name and slide it up. Excel, harder to do. Okay? If you're a handwritten person, write a handwritten list. Totally okay with me.
Yeah, Mark had mentioned that you guys have some sort of spreadsheet that you kind of use, like a template.
Well, that's for going through the process of making the calls.
Okay.
But for making the list, I recommend Google Sheet. Use it. Figure it out. It's real easy. And we'll do a mini class on that next week. It won't be preaching next week. It'll be Q&A much more. But here's the point. I want you to go through and label all the ones you know you got to talk to. Number 2, all the ones that would recognize your name. Recognize your name. They are all part of your hot list. Now, the second group are all the people who you've done things with in the past, but you know what? It's been a while. Or you got their cards somewhere, and you know, if you had 30 seconds or 15 seconds, they would be, oh yeah, I know who you are. That's the warm list. And everybody else is on the cool list. And I promise you, if you do this right, you'll never be a cool guy because you'll never get to your cool list. You won't need to. Cool? You got it? Dave, answered?
Yep.
Check. Any other questions? 3 minutes. See,
I
Tim, I
got-
got plenty
I
of time
got
for
one.
questions. Go ahead, John.
Would it be acceptable for, so my sister is a freaking phenomenal recruiter, but she's now a real estate agent. Would it be acceptable for her to make these types of calls on my behalf type deal?
Okay. The answer to that is